Agents amplify expertise and ignorance. That is the punchline of a talk I gave at Data Driven Pharma East in 2026. Let me walk you through why. I hate making slides. So for this talk, I opened a Marimo notebook on port 2720, pointed Cursor's coding agent at it, and built a Bayesian hierarchical model of protein melting points live in front of an audience in 27 minutes. The agent wrote most of the code. I narrated, took questions while the model sampled, and we landed on a posterior over the melting temperature of a yeast protein. The setup was the message. I talked to my data the way I actually do at work. Here is what clicked for me halfway through. The agent was genuinely fast, but it was fast for me in a way it would have been merely noisy for someone who lacked the context. Every minute I saved because of judgment I had built over years. The agent amplified that judgment. People treat prompting like a discrete skill you can grind in isolation. Read the prompts I gave the agent during the demo, and you will see the real substrate. Each one handed over a decision a scientist had to make first. To pick a protein, I had to know that a melting curve only means something when the signal has real dynamic range. It has to actually fall as the protein denatures. So I told the agent, find me a protein with a very good dynamic range between the upper and lower bound signal. That is a Bayesian's judgment wearing a prompt's clothes. The agent searched the data frame. I made the call about what counts as a fittable curve. To fit the curve, I told it the 4-parameter logistics upper and lower bounds had to land at exactly 1.0 and 0.0. That is dataset-specific domain knowledge, available to me only because I know something about how that data was generated. In this melting point assay, the fold change is normalized, so the bounds are fixed. Only someone who has stared at this assay would know that. The hierarchical model at the end carried the same fingerprint. I told the agent to put the population prior on the melting temperature and let the slope be whatever. That choice encodes a scientific belief. Proteins in the same organism share a distribution of stability, while their transition steepness stays idiosyncratic. You earn that belief by fitting a lot of curves and watching what breaks. Strip the expertise out and the prompts collapse. A novice asks the agent to analyze the protein data and gets back a plausible, confident, wrong answer. The cleanest moment came early. The agent loaded the parquet and showed me the data frame. I looked at the columns and noticed the temperature was missing. The one column, a melting point analysis, needs to exist. I had prepped that file from a JSON that morning and dropped it on the floor. The agent was perfectly happy. It had data, it had columns, it would have charged ahead and fit curves to nothing. I had to send it hunting through the original paper's methods section for the actual temperatures. That is the whole game. The agent has blind spots. Left alone, it charges right past them. The person who has run the assay feels the missing column immediately. And the faster the agent moves, the more you need exactly that feeling, because the agent accelerates regardless of whether it is right. Here is the rule I keep coming back to. Go fast inside your zone of expertise. Slow way down outside it. Know your vibe zone. The 4-parameter logistic lives in my vibe zone. I can glance at a PyMC model, see 1,000 tuning samples, and target accept 0.95 and know it is behaving. I let the agent write it and skim the result. Analytical chemistry sits on the other side. I have no formal training in the field. Hand me an LCMS dataset with the same agent and I slow to a crawl, one plot at a time, because a sane result and a broken one look the same to me at a glance. The agent widens this difference. Inside my vibe zone, it turns 10 hours into 1. Outside it, it turns confusion into confident confusion, faster. Mid-demo, I said something that made the room laugh, and I meant it. I am going to trust what the agent says. But you should not. I could trust it, because I could check it. Trust is a dial you set with your ability to verify. Experts turn it up. Beginners keep it low and check everything, which is exhausting, which is why beginners move slowly, even with a fast agent. The appealing story about coding agents is that they democratize the craft. My spicy take is that the lived reality runs the other way. The agent hands a loaded instrument to whoever is holding it. In expert hands, it is a microscope. In novice hands, it is a confocal microscope pointed at the wrong slide, producing beautiful, expensive, wrong images. If you have spent a decade learning your domain, this is excellent news. Your investment compounds now instead of depreciating. The boring middle of data science burns away. What remains is the part that was always worth something. Deciding what to measure, what to believe, and what to distrust. So if you want more leverage from tools like these, the highest return thing you can do is still, somewhat against the spirit of the age, to become an expert in something real.